Yo, what's up guys? You're back with your man Tech Nick, your go-to guy for videos on the latest tech. Now today we have a bunch of the latest tech here undergoing a battery drain test. On the left we have a huge 5000 mAh battery seen inside of the Nubia Red Magic 3 over here, which is paired with a Snapdragon 855 chipset. Then to the right of it we have a slightly smaller 4200 mAh battery found in the P30 Pro rocking a Kirin 980 chipset. Then we have the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus over here, which is indeed the Snapdragon edition over here, Snapdragon 855 processing chip inside it since it is a Chinese variant. Then we have the OnePlus 7 Pro, which actually has 12 gigs of RAM here. This has a 4000 mAh battery rocking a Snapdragon 855 as well. Then we have the ZTE Axon 10 Pro, also with a 4000 mAh battery, also with a Snapdragon 855 chipset, and the Lenovo Z6 Pro here, also with a 4000 mAh battery, also with a Snapdragon 855 processing chip. So these three to the right here, all 4000 mAh batteries, and then the smallest of the bunch is the Xiaomi Mi 9 with a 3300 mAh battery, but with the smallest screen out of all of them and a relatively small battery and really good processing. I'm sure it will do well. We also have the trendy little S8 Plus here and a luminous meter to keep track of the time and the brightness of all the devices. These are all monsters and I can't wait to see who comes out on top here, guys. So without further ado, let's go. Okay guys, so I'm just going to go ahead here before we start the test and takes out the lux meter. I've tried to keep it between around 51 to 53 on all of the devices. I just opened up Chrome and a blank page to test out the white levels of all the devices here so that they are as even as possible throughout this test. I have also made sure, and I will show you a little bit later on, that the OnePlus 7 Pro and the S10 Plus have been set to Full HD Plus and they are not on their default Quad HD. Then starting over here, I'm going to keep the app at the top right hand corner and the interval timer at the top of the device, as well as the percentages above each of the devices. So here you can see that I'm showing you the OnePlus 7 Pro and the S10 Plus have both been set to Full HD Plus, so that's really cool over there, just to keep things as even as possible. I've also set all the devices up from left to right based on their battery capacity size, not necessarily how they will stack up in this test. So I did have some issues with Spotify over here. That's why you can see me fiddling around. Spotify doesn't like you to have them open on the same device over here, so I had to set all to offline mode. So after a 45-minute mark, you can see Red Magic 3, 94%, 100% still on the P30 Pro, 95% S10 Plus, 96% 7 Pro, 95% on the Axon 10 Pro, 97% on the Z6 Pro, and 95% on the Mi 9. That is a huge mouthful. Okay guys, with Shazam over here, I had some issues on the Nubia Red Magic 3, but then I eventually got it going over here and all went nice and well at this point in time on closing in on that hour and 30-minute mark. So remember that interval time at the top doesn't necessarily show you the percentages of the phones at the bottom when the time is happening, but more based on that interval timer. So now you can see 1 hour 30-minute mark, Nubia Red Magic 3 86%, P30 Pro is now dropped by that 100% to 93%, 88 on the S10 Plus, 89 on the 7 Pro, 89 on the Axon 10, 90 on the Z6 Pro, and 88 on the Mi 9. It seems like the Z6 Pro and the P30 Pro are leading the pack here, all above 90%, and the rest have all dropped below it, with the Nubia surprisingly being dead last over here. So hitting that 2-hour mark, we're going to be going into Facebook TV right now, and 81% on the Red Magic 3, 88 on the P30 Pro, 84 on the S10 Plus, 84 on the 7 Pro, 85 on the Axon 10 Pro, 87 on the Z6 Pro, and 82 on the Xiaomi Mi 9. You can see the Xiaomi Mi 9 is dropping off there quite a bit, but it's actually trading blows with the Red Magic, which has a much bigger battery. But remember, the Nubia and the OnePlus both have the biggest screens at 6.67 inches over here. So now we're going on to 1080p 30 FPS selfie video over here. You guys told me that you would prefer if I did a selfie video instead of a back video. Sorry, my mom gave me a call over there and interrupted. Nevertheless, we are on that almost 3-hour mark over there, and we're about to hit 3 hours. So let's see the results of the 3-hour interval. We have 69 on the Red Magic and 69 on the Mi 9, pretty much exactly the same, even though the Red Magic has a much bigger battery. 76 on the P30 Pro, which is holding blows with the Z6 Pro, which is now in the lead, guys. I cannot believe that the Z6 Pro is holding up stronger than the P30 Pro. We have the S10 Plus and the 7 Pro pretty similar at 71 and 73 respectively, and then 74% on the Axon 10 Pro. And then hitting that 3-hour 30-minute mark after playing Helix Jump for 30 minutes, we have 59 on the Red Magic and 56 on the Mi 9, so the Red Magic is now doing slightly better than that. Then we have 61 and 60 61 on the S10 Plus and Axon 10 Pro. Even though the Axon 10 Pro has a slightly smaller battery and the same size screen, it's actually really impressive that Axon is trading blows with Samsung. And I must say, at this point, Samsung is definitely doing better than the last test I had. It must be because of updates and optimizing for the system UI. So on the 4-hour mark, we're about to go on to Angry Birds over here. We have 53 on the Red Magic and 62 on the P30 Pro, 56 S10 Plus, 55 7 Pro, 58 Axon 10 Pro, 59 Z6 Pro, and 51 Mi 9. They're all in the 50s. The only one that is above 60 here is the P30 Pro. So now the P30 Pro is taking the lead again over the Z6 Pro. It's kind of a toss-up here between the two. And on that 4 hours 30-minute mark after Angry Birds, we're about to run into Instagram over here. We have 48 on the Red Magic, and it is second lowest, with the lowest being the Xiaomi Mi 9. We have 57 on the P30 Pro, which is definitely the highest. Then the Galaxy S10 Plus and ZTE Axon 10 Pro are pretty similar at 51 and 52 respectively. And then going on to that 5-hour mark, we're about to run into our first Antutu bench over here, guys. And I will not be turning performance mode on any of the devices, so no performance mode on them. They are not getting boosted in any way, so that's why you'll see such a low score for the P30 Pro. If you didn't see, there was around 230,000, less than the Snapdragon 845 chipset, but when you put on that performance mode, it does do quite well. So now we're hitting 5 hours and 10 mark after the Antutu. You can see the Red Magic has dropped below 40%, as well as the Xiaomi Mi 9. Then we have the P30 Pro leading the bunch, with the Z6 Pro not far behind. We have the S10 Plus and Axon 10 Pro equal, and then there's 7 Pro still doing quite well over there. Then on the 5 hours and 40-minute mark, after playing a round of flip diving, we're going onto YouTube over here to watch some clips, and we're currently sitting on 33% on the Red Magic 3, 42% on the P30 Pro, 36% on the S10 Plus, 34% on the 7 Pro, 37% on the Axon 10 Pro, 42% on the Z6 Pro, and 28% on the Mi 9. Now, while I've got a second, just to tell you guys that the 7 Pro and the Red Magic 3 is indeed running a 90 Hz panel, where the rest of the devices are running at 60 Hz. Now on the Red Magic 3, I have looked all over, but there is no way, even when you are in gaming mode, in that wonderful game space mode, you cannot adjust the hertz of the screen. You cannot change it to 60. So due to that, I have left the OnePlus at 90 as well to compete with the Red Magic 3, since I thought it would be interesting. And if you're buying a OnePlus 6 Pro, let's be honest, you're probably going to want to, if you're buying a OnePlus 7 Pro, let's be honest, you're probably going to want to be using that 90 Hz all the time anyway. So this is definitely a more realistic point of view from that standing point, and you won't necessarily be using that Quad HD all the time, since it is quite a small screen. And honestly, I don't see much of a difference, but the 90 Hz fluid AMOLED display is seriously amazing, guys. Now we're moving on to 4K 30 video. So I have included this in, guys, where it's recording at 4K 30, showing what is behind it, which is nothing. It is just black. But after 7 hours and 22 minutes, guys, the Xiaomi has done it. Now in my last test, the Xiaomi only made it 7 hours, so it is improved by 22 minutes. I'm not sure if it's slightly different on my test, but I try to keep things exactly the same. And when it knocked out over there, we have 11% left on the Red Magic, which is really low for a 5000 mAh phone, guys. Then now 9% on the 7 hour 30 mark. So 13% on the P30 Pro, which is the highest up there. And the Lenovo Z6 Pro, guys, is ridiculously above that. I cannot believe it. 8% more than the P30 Pro, with a 200 mAh less battery capacity advantage over there. And we have the S10 Plus and the 7 Pro pretty similar. Then the Axon 10 Pro is actually doing better than the S10 Plus and 7 Pro. I didn't expect that. Now the Axon 10 Pro on the 8 hour mark is actually really similar with the P30 Pro via just 2% behind. And the Red Magic 3 is actually holding up quite well now that we hit over this 8 hour mark onto Subway Surfer, and it does indeed pack out there at 8 hours and 15 minutes, which I guess is give or take pretty good. If you do use that gaming mode though, it is going to be knocked down quite a bit, so I would say maybe 7, maybe 6 hours if you're using that gaming mode. And just a minute later, at 8 hours 16 minutes, we have the S10 Plus clocking out over there at 8 hours and 60 minutes, 0%. That is really good, because the last test I got was only 7 hours and 10 minutes, guys. The optimization has done really well with their software updates. Then a couple seconds after the Axon 10 Pro got knocked out, the OnePlus 7 Pro got knocked out as well. So both on 8 hours and 17 minutes. That is really good time. And then just a couple minutes later, 6 minutes later, 8 hours 23 minutes, the P30 Pro got knocked out. Guys, the Z6 Pro is the new champion here. Anything that beats the P30 Pro, and Huawei are known for their darn brilliant battery optimization and their battery performance over here. I cannot begin to tell you how impressed I am with the Lenovo Z6 Pro over here. It is seriously blowing my mind. I can't believe it. So I went on to YouTube over there. Now we're gonna run it through Antutu. I can't believe it has hit that 9-hour mark, guys. I actually had to change my SD card. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I ran out of space on my 128 gig. So it knocked out there 9 hours and 2 minutes. Can you believe it? Were any of you guys expecting this? Leave me a comment down below. But let's go ahead and check out that ranking order. So in 7th place, we have the Xiaomi Mi 9 here with its little 3,300 milliampere battery, but did surprisingly well at 7 hours and 22 minutes. Then the Nubia, which kind of disappointed me since it has the biggest battery of the bunch with only 8 hours and 15 minutes over there. Then we have the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which has a significantly smaller battery than the Nubia, but sitting at 8 hours and 16 minutes. Then the OnePlus 7 Pro in 4th place with a pretty decent, since the massive screen, 8 hours and 17 minutes. Then the ZTE Axon 10 Pro, same score as the OnePlus 7 Pro at 8 hours and 17 minutes. That really impressed me there, guys. Then we have the Huawei P30 Pro, which I thought would win this, sitting at 8 hours and 23 minutes. And then in 1st place, all hail the king, guys, the Lenovo Z6 Pro with a whopping 9 hours and 2 minutes. Can you believe it? Just let that sink in, guys. This phone has seriously impressed me in the battery department, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this test as much as I did making it. Until next time, guys, this is Technic.